Butch Vig's joining us on Gorman in the morning. Butch, the Garbage Tour comes through Minneapolis Saturday night at First Avenue, a venue in a town you know very well.
Well, it's going to be an anniversary for us. The very first gig that Garbage ever played was 7th Street Entry, and we're 30 years into it now, if you can believe it.
I can believe it. Paul Fletcher can believe it because my man was at that very first gig.
Wow.
I can remember it was elbow to elbow, butts to nuts, as they say. The stage is only elevated a little bit. There being no place for you to exit the stage. The thing I'll always remember is sticking an elbow out, clearing some room, extending my hand, and letting the lovely Shirley Manson down off the stage. That was
All right on.
because I was right up front, man. That was
That is
something
really,
special.
yeah, that is really cool. The funny thing is we did sound check and went to the hotel. We were staying in a hotel somewhere downtown, and we walked a couple blocks back to the venue. And as we came up, there was this huge line outside to go into the venue. And I'm like, holy cow, there can't be this many people to see Garbage. The venue only holds a couple hundred people. And we kept walking up, and then we turned the corner, and it was Guar who was playing in the upstairs room. So all the Guar fans were in there like, I'm ready to get spewed with blood shirts on.
Oh, that's right.
And we stuck our head in the room where Guar were playing later, and they played their famous song, Bring Me the Head of Jerry Garcia, and it was pretty funny.
That's a So now 30 years on, Butch, you guys are calling your own shot, the final North American tour. Is this the final tour and anywhere for Garbage, or will there be more dates elsewhere?
Definitely going to be more dates. We're already talking about going to the UK and Europe next summer. Shirley's been talking about this on stage every night. The two reasons we're going to start dialing back headlining is it is physically so demanding to go and do a 2-hour show every night. We're doing 40 shows on this tour. We're only halfway through, and we've all got a chest respiratory infections at this point. But it's also gotten so expensive since COVID. The cost of everything is up like 30% or
Yeah.
more. And it's just really hard physically and economically. But we're going to keep playing. We're already talking about recording another album. Hopefully going to start recording next fall,
Nice.
like September, October. We have a couple rough song ideas. And yeah, we're not going away. We're just going to be dialing it back a little bit.
Garbage has always struck me as a band that you have called your own shot every step of the way. I mean, you didn't get together as kids. You were seasoned vets right from the jump. So you've been able to avoid an awful lot of, it seems like, again, drama, interpersonal. It's always been a very mature band. Would that be a fair assessment?
Yeah, and I think if we had had success and I was 20 years old or 21, it probably would have gone in my head.
Mm-hmm.
I played in a lot of bands in the Madison area that had some success and a lot of failures. And so I think by the time Garbage took off, I was probably in my late 30s. It just gave us all a clear perspective that we're really lucky to be here. Let's really focus on this and don't lose it, don't throw it away.
Anecdotally, I've had conversations over the years with producers, with engineers, and anytime Garbage comes up, I've heard this, I'm paraphrasing, but there's the idea of a producer decides to start a band after he's had some success. That never works except this one time. You're the guy that you thread the needle to go from band guy to production guy back to band guy. Not an easy trick to pull off.
Well, I'm very lucky, but a lot of people told me I was making a big mistake. I thought long and hard about it too, because if Garbage had flopped, that would have been my back,
Mhm.
it would have been a terrible blowback on myself. I just always loved being in bands so much, and I really felt there was great chemistry with Shirley, and I really thought we had some great songs on that first record, Only Happy When It
Mhm.
Was Stupid Girl, and so I took a leap of faith, and darn, I'm still here 30 years later.
Well,
Heck yeah.
chemistry, I've said a million times, chemistry's not a part of a great band. It's the part of a great band. If there's no chemistry, you're just kidding yourselves. Let's go back to you as a producer. You saw bands with tremendous chemistry. I'm sure you worked with artists where you had to fake the chemistry. So I imagine you did have a sense that it was real with you and Shirley. I know in your gut you were probably by that point very prepared to acknowledge, oh, this is real. I'm not making this up.
Yeah, and it's funny. We had looked for a singer and hadn't really found anybody that felt quite right. And Steve saw Shirley on 120 Minutes with her band Angelfish. They only played the song once, and he happened to film it on, put the VCR on and recorded it on a Sunday night. he brought the tape into the studio, and Duke and Steve and I watched it, and we just fell in love with their voice right away. It was a song on the Angelfish record called Suffocate Me. If you've ever heard that song, Shirley sings really low and very intimate and quiet. And
Hmm.
unlike a lot of the alternative singers who are really getting very screamo, and there's a lot of angst and a lot of push in their voices. And Shirley did the opposite, and we loved that understatement. And I think that's one of the reasons that we were really drawn to her.
Butch Vig's with us on Gorman in the morning. Butch, Packers fan, yeah?
Huge Packers fan. They get a bye this week. I don't know if you saw the game the other night.
Hmm.
8 points scored and no winner. It was like, as they say, like kissing your grandma, although my grandma was always pretty sweet.
Yeah.
It's like, come on, come on, come on, come on. Oh my God, it's going to be a tie. It just was such a letdown.
It certainly was after start of the season. I mean, it was all the talk of, I mean, nationally pundits. This is a Super Bowl team, and now suddenly it's oh my God, because we of course have to overreact through at least the first 6 weeks of the season.
Of
That's what we do as
course.
football fans.
Yeah.
So, how many different places have you seen the Packers? I know you've been to Lambeau, but how
Oh, yeah.
Packers fans travel well? How many times have you gone into enemy territory?
Let me think about this. Tampa, Minnesota, and the Old Dome.
Oh boy.
Chicago, Detroit, Dallas, and San Francisco.
Nice.
Yeah.
All incendiary environments.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's fantastic.
Steve, I was going to go to a Packers game at the Raiders when
Hmm.
I was producing Green Day, and then Trey said, "Oh, you can't go. They'll know you're a Packer fan. And they'll throw beers on you." I'm like, "What?" He goes, I won't wear my Packer swag." He goes, "No, no, no. They'll just know that you're a Packers fan, and
Yeah,
they're gonna get it." So we're like, "Okay."
yeah, right. It's great. So 30 years with Garbage, many more years, working with other bands. I mentioned chemistry earlier. George Martin once said, I read a quote. He said, I didn't sign the Beatles because I thought they were great. As a band, I thought they were great people. And he said, when they entered a room, the electricity changed. That chemistry was there from the jump. And almost as a comedy producer, he recognized that within that dynamic. What are the bands that come to mind when I say best chemistry with instruments or otherwise that you've worked with?
Oh man, there's so many. I mean, the first time I worked with Smashing Pumpkins, they just completely blew me away. I really developed a great working relationship with Billy Corgan. He
Mm-hmm.
really set the bar very high, and he pushed me, and I did the opposite, or I did the exact same thing with him. I pushed the bar really high and challenged him a lot, and he was up for it. But there's been so many great bands. There's a band Against Me who I love. Laura Jane Grace is a phenomenal artist and writer. I just finished a new Silver Suns pickup album, and I love the Silver Suns. They're just awesome people. I have a tendency to greenlight a project to make sure that I really connect with the band on a personal level. I don't want to work with people if I don't feel there's chemistry. That's
Right.
probably the most important reason that I greenlight something that I'm going to work on.
Butch Vig's with us on Gorman in the morning. I do want to ask you about Nevermind, but my kid's, when he was 15, one day he comes home and he's like, Dad, you've heard Nirvana, right? And of course, I'm like, yeah, yeah, once or twice. But that record specifically, there's something about it. Every generation finds it. And now it's with the context of what that band meant at the time, all that is meaningless. It's just about that record. And it still connects as viscerally as it did the first time I heard it in 1991. I just stared at the speaker for 40 minutes going, I can't believe this record. That still happens. Have you come around? Can you even hear that record as just the way anyone else hears it, as just simply great songs well recorded?
I can now, but when I first finished the record, myself and everybody closely involved with the band was just completely blown away by the success it had. It was a
Mm-hmm.
zeitgeist moment. It changed my life profoundly. And as you know, then Kurt took his life, and
Mm-hmm.
around that time, I was trying to morph out of, as we talked earlier, out of producing and getting into a band. And I met Shirley, and when we would go out and do press on the first Garbage tour when the album came out, I could see that artists, we'd be in a room somewhere with the journalist, and they would be fidgeting, fidgeting. At the end of the Garbage interview, they go, "So, Butch Vig, what was it like working with Kurt Cobain?"
Right, right.
I could see in every single interview I did. I'm sure that's one of the reasons that they wanted to talk to Garbage, because no one knew who we were at the time. And it started annoying me, so I told my publicist I don't want to talk about Nirvana anymore. I'm here to
Right.
talk about Garbage. And that really annoyed some journalists. But it took me quite a while to sort of set that aside. And I think Dave and Chris Novoselic reached out to me around the 20th anniversary, and we started doing press every time there's a milestone. And
Yeah.
and now I enjoy talking about it because it was, like I said, it was a profound moment in my life.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because it is, again, I just saw my own kids. They don't know anything. The 90s to them is might as well be the 1890s. But at the end of the day, a great record's a great record. And that one, we still play. We play a lot of music that you have your hands on, but that stuff still jumps through. There's just something about it that no one needs to know anything other than, oh yeah, that song, it's doing what it needs to do.
I don't put it on and listen to it at
Yeah.
home, but I hear it everywhere.
Yeah.
It's in the supermarket, it's in clubs, it's in the car, it's on the radio. And it feels cool to be part of a record that is really out in the universe like that.
Mm-hmm.
But every time I hear it, there's an electricity to it that I hear, and that's what I was trying to capture in the studio. And a lot of that came down to Dave Grohl's drumming. He's like one of the best rock drummers ever, and his playing is just so tight and fierce.
Mm-hmm.
And I pushed the band really hard to play really tight,
Yeah.
they had to be super, super focused together, and they were up for it. Yeah, a lot of people would say, "Oh, Nirvana, Kurt was sort of the slacker generation." That's not true. He wanted to be successful. He wanted to
Yeah.
make an amazing sounding album.
I was a fan of the first record and I saw them in a club on that first tour and I was excited. Oh, there's another record. Cool. But to put it on and hear it, that was like a double A ball to Yankee Stadium. Kudos to you. I know it's a really long time ago, but I go back to the first time I heard that record. It was in the dressing room at one of my own gigs. I was in the Black Crowes then, and we put it on and watching all of us lose our steam going, we thought we were the shit. It was like, and we all did. We all looked at each other and went, oh my God, what is this?
Black Crowes are pretty rocking, man. I'm a Black Crowes fan.
Yeah, well, thank you. We were we were feeling it right then, and then that record was a good kick in the ass for sure. But I tell you, watching my kids discover it too, and I made sure never to shove music down my kids' throats. I didn't want to be that dad, and I might have gone a little too far in that, but that's just one of several things that you've produced where they find it and it works, and it's as much as it's songs, it's also the guy calling the shots. So man, it's a testament to you. I'm really happy to talk to you because your music has just been blasting around in the rooms I've been in forever.
Cool, man. It's interesting. My daughter is 19, Bo, and like you, I tried not to force any music on her, but she heard music all the time in my house. I really have no hobby, Steve. I just work on music.
Sure.
And then watch the Packer game for 5 months out of the year. And she didn't really get into pop music. She got into like 40s music and Broadway musicals, which is pretty
Wow.
cool because my mom was a music teacher and she was really into music like that. And around the time she was in her senior year of high school, she started, noticing records that I did. And I think her friends were like, your dad did Smashing Pumpkins, your dad
Yeah.
produced Nirvana.
Yeah.
And then she got curious, and now she's really, I mean, I listen to her because I think she's a tastemaker now. She turns me on to all these cool, new, young indie artists, a lot of
Mhm.
sort of singer-songwriters, sort of folk artists,
Yeah.
but just all eclectic and electronic, and I love it because she's just really expanded her vocabulary and informed me, which is really cool.
Yeah, I mean, of a certain age, everybody likes to say music, it's not like it used to be. There's no good music anymore. The only thing that's changed is you got to work a little harder to find it. But I'm constantly hearing things that blow me away.
Yeah, same here. There's so much music out there that
Mhm.
you really have to dig for it and be patient sometimes. But recording is so much more. It's just open to everyone now. It's an open platform. When I started out recording, it was daunting. How do you make a record? How do you
Mhm.
produce a record? What's a recording studio like? I never took any classes. I just figured it out on the fly. And
Right.
now you can go on the internet and learn how to record a
Mhm.
song just by taking some quick tutorials and just open up your laptop and there's, you can fire up GarageBand and record a pretty decent sounding song. But
Right.
because of that, there's so much music out there that we're kind of awash in a sea of mediocrity. So you really got to dig
Yeah.
to find the new music that really turns you on.
First time I walked into a recording studio, I had owned a drum kit for 3 months and was going to do a demo. And this was 1987. And I looked at that desk And I looked at the producer and I said, do you know what every one of these knobs and buttons actually does? And he said, yeah. And I just, right then I realized this is the other side of the brain for me. I don't have that. I was so intimidated. And then when I watched a man take out a razor blade and actually splicing tape, I just thought, this is too much. I couldn't imagine how you even start to try to figure out how to do that. It's still a magic trick. A great engineer, a great producer, the focus and the stamina it takes to do it right. I'm still in awe.
Steve, I was the king of razor blade editing. I got so good at it, and I learned it in electronic music. I took 4 semesters at UW-Madison in electronic music, and the first day, one of the things the instructor taught me was how to tape edit, and I was like, whoa! I could do the tiniest little nano edits, like replacing a snare drum or a bad kick drum, like in a 30 ups on a tape. And now, of course, it's in your Mac. You can edit, just copy and paste with the click of a mouse. So it saves hundreds of hours of time, because I'd track it with a band and go, okay, you guys go across the street to the bar and go have a grilled cheese sandwich and a pitcher of beer. I'm going to edit this together. And it would take, a song, I'd have my notes I'd go through. It would take 2 or 3 hours, and that was moving along pretty fast.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, I kind of miss the tape editing. I got into a Zen thing when I did it. Like, time would stop. I would just start doing this thing, cutting it, marking it, just rolling the reels, marking it, rolling the reels. And like 3 or 4 hours could go by. I didn't even notice.
Yeah.
I was in some Zen zone.
Outstanding. Butch Vig, Garbage is at First Avenue Saturday night. Butch, man, it is a pleasure to chat with you. Long overdue for me personally. I've always wanted to be able to say hi. I'm looking forward to the show Saturday.
Cool. Well, thanks, Steve. Yeah, we're super psyched. The shows have been great so far. The fans have been kind of crazy. We're really having,
I'm sure
it's pretty fun every night.
That's fantastic. Thanks so much for taking the time, man. We'll see you in a couple of days.
All right. We'll see you guys in a minute.